Hey guys, it's Tara Castaneda here, Diamond Senior Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And today I'm going to talk about the 5 levels of leadership. I talk about this a lot in a lot of my other videos. I talk about this all the time when I'm coaching people, when I'm talking to my team. Know your level of leadership, know how to reach the next one. And I realized I'd never made a video on that particular training. I find myself always explaining it, but I don't have a video for you guys. So I wanted to make this resource for you to share with your teams so that you could revisit this, because ultimately the rank that you're going to achieve is dependent all on this. 100%. So obviously the 5 levels of leadership I did not create. It is John Maxwell who created that. And so I give everything that I'm saying credit to John Maxwell and his 5 levels of leadership and developing the leader within you 2.0. That is where I got this information. I'm going to be looking at some notes over here, so that's why I'm going to be looking to the left for you guys. So, okay, so 5 levels of leadership explained. Here we go. Bear with me. Get some notes out. You're going to need them. A little backstory here, practical example of how important this is. I was completely stuck at Emerald. Not a bad place to be stuck, I understand, but I was stuck nonetheless. For 6 months, I flirted right around that 1,500 mark. At one point, went back down to 1,350, so I did lose rank 1 month. And I decided something's got to change. I don't know what's going on. What I did to get here is not working. And I realized I had reached my leadership lid. My natural leadership lid got me to Emerald, but I could not get past it until I grew my level of leadership. So if you find yourself stuck at gold or senior gold, your natural leadership level has capped, and you need to learn about these 5 levels of leadership, identify where you are, and then figure out how to raise yourself up a level, and you will find that your business thrives. So this is what changed my business. And so I was stuck there for 6 or 7 months, learned about this, figured out ways to increase my level of leadership so that I could then do the same for my leaders and develop them. And within a month or 2, I went Sapphire, Diamond the next month, re-entry 2 months later, and then 6 months later hit Senior Ruby. So it was a fast increase after I realized this piece of the puzzle. So here we go. 5 levels of leadership explained. So the first level is positional, okay? It's based on rights. People follow you because they have to. You sign up as an ambassador, you talk about products, they buy it because you're an ambassador. That is positional. You can also be a positional leader at a gold level or senior gold level or ruby level or emerald level. I have seen it happen. So don't let your title confuse you here. This is the most basic entry of leadership because it just represents leadership before a leader has developed any true leadership or true influence with the people that they're leading. Okay, so you know, you can find a positional leader at a higher rank because they somehow attracted higher levels of leadership in their downline, either in their 2s or 3s, maybe even in their 1s. That's rare, super rare to find, but I guess it can happen. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible, right? So anyway, this is the most basic level. People follow a positional leader only as far as they have to. You will not find people going above and beyond here. So if your team is not like really trying for you, you're positional. It's a good place to start. Kind of all start at positional leadership sometime in our lifetime, but it is a really bad place to stay. So you have the right to lead here, but it's not going to last long. True leadership is someone being someone who others gladly, willingly, confidently follow. Excuse me. So the huge difference here, and yes, I'm drinking my Plexus Slim. So good. Hunger control. Huge difference here is having a position versus having influential leadership. Position of leadership versus having influential leadership. So think of like a boss versus a leader, right? A boss is going to drive you. A leader is going to coach you. It's based on authority versus goodwill. It's a boss says I. A leader says we. A boss is going to fix the blame versus a leader who's going to fix the breakdown that caused the blame. Okay? A boss is going to know how to do it, and a leader is going to show how to do it. A boss is going to say, go, 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 and the leader is going to say, let's go. Okay? So think about those things. We've all had a boss that's been positional, right? We've all had a boss in our lifetime that's like, ugh, I hate to listen to him. I hate to listen to her, follow him. They're only a leader because they have the title, okay? 3 common characteristics of positional leaders. So they look for security based on their title more than their own talent. So these people oftentimes tend to struggle with some ego sometimes. If you don't struggle with ego, it doesn't mean that you're not positional, okay? But they tend to do that. What do I mean by that? They find power and security in knowing that they have the title to back it rather than exhibiting talents to back it. So, you know, I've seen this happen where there's a Ruby ambassador, and they think that they're amazing because they're a Ruby ambassador, not because they have the talents of what should be a Ruby ambassador. Follow? The second thing is they rely on their leader's influence instead of their own, or they rely on their downline's influence instead of their own. So an example would be this leader fears that their team won't follow them. They doubt themselves so much, they doubt their abilities, and they're fearful that they won't be listened to. So they oftentimes say, oh, well, Tara, our upline, said to do it, so we need to do that. So they rely on the influence of their upline leader, rather than exhibiting leadership themselves. Okay? Or they may have a few leaders in their downline somewhere in their organization, whether it's level 1, 2, 3, and this particular person backs up and says, well, I'm gonna let them lead the majority of my team, because they fear in their head that they don't match up to them, or they have this weird sense of, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Well, no, you're the upline of them, you're the leader of them. Don't form an ego, but be confident in yourself enough to not rely on someone else's influence, rely on your own influence. And if you don't have it, you need to build it. Okay? And the third common characteristic of a positional leader is they can't get people to follow them beyond their defined authority. Can't get people to follow them beyond their defined authority, meaning people only do what's required of them and nothing more, and oftentimes they'll do even less than that. So let's say that you find yourself pushing. Maybe you're pushing for a rank, or maybe you are pushing for a team goal, and you're like, okay, let's sign 15 people this month. Come on, guys, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. And it's like pulling teeth to get anybody to do anything, and oftentimes nobody really does anything, or maybe they give it 25% of their effort. You're finding yourself in a positional leadership. So people do not become committed to a vision or a cause that's led by positional leaders. So, you know, I've said it in many of my other videos, and I really should make a video about this. You will not get to higher ranks with Plexus or in any network marketing, but specifically with Plexus, if you just let it organically happen. Like, that is, I don't want to laugh at people. I really don't ever laugh at people. But when people are like, oh, I know diamond will happen when it's supposed to happen, and I'm just going to let it organically happen. Okay, I love ya. I'm going to say it. It ain't going to happen. You have to be intentional. What do I mean by that? Know your business, know your points, know what you got on the books, know what people you've got, build your leadership, grow your leaders. Like, there's a lot of puzzle pieces in there that you have to do to just magically become diamond one day. I mean, it's like, oh, let me just roll out of bed and become diamond. It doesn't happen. It doesn't even happen for senior gold or ruby sometimes. So if you have these huge visions for yourself and you have these amazing causes, but you find your team isn't committed to them, you're probably positional, okay? So here are a couple of other things or cues that, I don't want to say red flags, but cues that maybe you are functioning in a positional level right now. You're struggling with your outside leg points, right? Maybe you have one specific leg that's carrying you, but you're struggling with your outside leg points. you have no true leaders that you have developed. So maybe you have one or two, but they just kind of tended to do it on their own and you didn't have a huge hand in it. Or maybe you've developed one, but you can't develop many others. So maybe you had really good influence with that one person, but your influence as a whole is lacking. So you're not developing leaders. If you feel like the weight of your entire team is all on your shoulders right now and you're like pulling teeth to get anything done, you're probably functioning out of a positional level of leadership. Okay? Now, don't fret if you're here. That's okay. What did I say earlier? Everybody kind of starts somewhere. We build up. Okay? Leadership can be learned. How refreshing is that? It is not just a gift that you either have or don't. It can be learned. That's what the point of this video is. Okay, so how can you move up this level? I'm going to give a little tidbit here, but at the end of the video, I'm going to go over each level and what you can do to increase to the next level. But how can you move up to this from this level is you've got to create more influence, right? And until you do, the team's going to have low energy, low performance. You're going to feel like you're pulling teeth, like I've said. All the work's on you dealing with any sort of task that you ever try and do. You've got to move to the next level of leadership to get anywhere. Okay, so that's level 1, positional. Level 2 is permission. Okay, so permission is based on relationships, okay? All about relationships. People follow you because they want to. The essence of this leadership is that people want to work for you even when they're not obligated to. Now, I know that in Plexus, this is a voluntary business. Just because you sponsor somebody does not mean that you're their boss or you're forcing them to work. It is completely voluntary for them. And everybody in your downline does not work for you. That is not what network marketing is. They work with you and it just happens to benefit you. So I understand that. But what I'm saying is when you rise to the second level of leadership, this permission based on relationships and influence, people are going to want to cheer for you and do things for you outside of them just because you're you, right? So maybe you've participated in a team rallying together to become an Emerald team or become a Ruby team, and you didn't necessarily have a goal that you wanted to hit that month, but you were willing to work really hard for this leader so that they could achieve this goal. They were definitely functioning at least at a level 2. Doesn't mean they were at a level 2. They were at least functioning at a level 2 or beyond. Okay. Again, this is characterized by good relationships. People don't care. So we all have heard this saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? Influence is always going to begin with the heart and not the head. You've got to have those good, solid relationships where you're putting their needs at the forefront of your leadership, okay? You want to focus time and energy on the needs and desires of the other people in your organization and on your team, and connect with them to grow them. That's the idea here. You want to grow them and their influence. So you don't want to just build your influence. You want to be doing the same for them as well. So that end piece is pretty important. You want to develop relationships so that you can grow them, right? We all have relationships, but you know when you're sitting down at lunch with somebody and you can offer advice and they're going to listen to you, or you could offer advice and they're going to roll their eyes at you. The rolling of the eyes person, you have no influence over them. So that's what you're wanting to get, is influence so that you can impact and enhance their lives through improving their skill sets. Make sense? Okay. An important factor to know about permission and influence really is just because you care about people and you do focus on relationships doesn't mean that you are leading them. Let me repeat that. Just because you care about somebody and just because you are focused on relationships, good, great, wonderful, does not mean that you're always leading them or that you're even leading them, okay? You have to have that influence within that caring relationship. Let's see, when you have this type of influence and relationship, it's going to create a positive atmosphere, a really good culture on your team. People are going to be likely to go above and beyond. It's going to enhance trust in that relationship, connection in that relationship, unity in that relationship, all of these things across the team, and productivity is going to speed up a little bit when you do that, okay? So when you build these relationships and you build that influence, like I said, the lunch example or the coffee example, whatever I just said, when you're talking to somebody across the way. Either you have influence and somebody's going to listen to you, or you don't. Well, basically, they've given you permission or not to have that influence. So level 2 is about permission to lead, right? At this level, you have permission to lead. At level 1, you just had position. You didn't have permission. You had authority, you had title, you had rank. It's not going to get you very far. At this level, you've got permission now. You have influenced them to where they believe you, and they are going to take to heart what you have to say when you invest in them. You're building that influence in that relationship. So you have permission to lead them. Now, if you do or if you don't is up to you, right? So at this level, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are truly leading them. You just have the permission to do so. Okay? Let's see. Oh, this is important to note. If you stay in this for too long, and I have seen it happen, if you stay in this for too long, you will either slip back into level 1. You'll get comfortable, complacent. Hey, things are kind of moving. I got pretty far. Okay. Hey, not too bad. I'm going to sit here for a little bit. Well, you're either going to slip back into a level 1 and lose that influence, and it's easier to fall back than grow forward. It is. Or worse, you're going to lose the highly motivated individuals on your team. Have you had super performers leave your team? Highly motivated individuals leave your team. It is because you sat at a level 2 for too long. Okay. Motivated people are going to become restless here. Very restless, and they're going to go looking left and right to find somebody else, something else, another company. Okay. Okay. Number 3 is production. I'm going to scroll up my notes here. Production is all about results. Okay. People are following you because of what you have done for the organization as a whole. Okay. So you've passed through the position, you've passed, and you've been given permission, and now you've done something with that influence, and you're actually producing results with it. That is production level 3 leader. People can reach level 1 and 2 without much leadership ability. Okay, you can walk right into a level 1 or level 2, and it doesn't take much skill or ability. It's just whether or not you have the title, and then whether or not you're willing to build relationships. Not too much effort there. But this production is a little bit different. Okay, like I said, anyone can learn to care about people, which gains influence, but that only goes so far. And in order to really get things moving, like at a level 2 position, your team can be moving pretty good. I mean, you can get pretty far on that. I mean, I've seen people get actually really far just because of who they attracted in their downline, actually, or who their friends then attracted in their downline. So you can kind of get some stuff done, but at level 3 production, it's entirely different. People get things done here. The team is getting things done. There are no excuses. The team is just on fire. It's called the big mo, right? John Maxwell talks about that. The big mo, big momentum, massive momentum. It's just trucking. It's trucking. It's trucking. And it's producing all these results. Super high energy, lots of team loyalty. Boom, bada bing, team is moving and grooving and shaking. That is level 3 leadership. You have achieved that. Okay? Now, I want to say this. People will tend to gravitate toward either a level 1 positional leadership or a level 2 permission leadership based on what they are driven by, whether that's results or relationships. So what do I mean by that? Think if you're in a meeting, and we've all been to a meeting where let me back up. You've all been to a meeting where everybody's having fun, and it's just like a social atmosphere, and it was supposed to be like a team party or a team meeting, but it's just super fun. And you might have a rah-rah moment and a training moment, but the results from that meeting, either that day or the following weeks after that meeting, no results actually got done. But it was a lot of fun, right? That leader that led that, that hosted that, they understand level 2 leadership. They understand permission leadership, right? People love each other, all that kind of stuff. but they don't understand level 3. They don't understand results. Now, on the flip side, if you've been a part of a meeting where things are getting done, I mean, boom, 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 but it's like miserable and it's sucky and nobody really wants to be there, but things are getting done, that leader understands level 3 leadership, results leadership, but not level 2, not permission. So maybe your team was once really successful, and then it falls below and it's not successful anymore, and nobody seems to be having fun. You were able to get results, but it wasn't super fun, and you've lost that permission. That's an example of that. Okay. So the goal here to reach a high functioning level 3, right? So we're going back to level 3 production. The goal here to reach that level is to combine both. You've got to find the results with the relationships so that you can perform in a high functioning level 3 leadership. Okay. Results here are what speaks super loudly to those that we work for. So your upline. Remember what I said about working for. And then those who we lead. Okay. Are you, as the leader, doing what you want your team to do? Are you recruiting? Check. Are you also developing level 1 silvers and golds and new legs? No? Not a check? Okay. You've fallen back to level 2. Okay. You have to produce organizational results yourself while inspiring others to do it with you to function as a 3 leader. Okay. So think about the leaders, the legs that you have on your team. What does that look like? What does your organization look like? If you only have 1 or 2, and you haven't developed any new legs recently, in the past 6 months, year, 2 years, you've fallen into a level 2. So we need to bump back up to level 3. We need to learn how to get to level 3. Okay. Level 4 leadership is in the people development phase. Okay. People development phase. It is called reproduction. People follow you because of what you've done for them. Intense loyalty here. Intense loyalty here. Think about that for a second. Reaching level 1, level 2, level 3, it's going to help others see that you're a good leader. Yeah, for sure. You will, as you go through up to 3, you will be a good leader. You'll get a lot done. Like I said, you've got that big momentum. You're producing results, all that good gravy stuff, right? Maybe you've even reached diamond at this rank. I've seen it. But you're struggling to get past diamond, or you're just chilling at 4,500 points, and you've never gone above that. You got to work on this piece here. So you're a good leader, but what defines the difference between good versus great? Right? Leadership goes beyond just getting stuff done. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, because great leaders do more than just get stuff done. Great leaders are not great because of their power or because of their results, but they are great because of their ability to empower. Okay? It's all about legacy here. Success without a successor is a failure. Success without a successor is a failure. You should want to develop someone as a level 1 who's better than you. You should want that. You should want that. You should strive for that. Try and get one of those in your downline. Get somebody in your downline that's better than you. That is what you want. You want to develop people. I made a video on this very topic. It's about a 30-minute video that talks about how you go about developing people. And it's called How to Build a Sustainable Plexus Business, or How to Have a Sustainable Plexus Business, something along those lines. And it teaches tips on what you do to develop others, because that is what number 4, level 4 leadership is all about, people development. Okay? Like I said, you want to develop leaders who develop leaders, and that's the reproduction part of this level 4. Many good leaders fail to focus on this level because they find themselves, like I said, maybe they've gotten to diamond. Maybe you've gotten to emerald, and you're like, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I got there. They're focused on their results. They're focused on that the team gave them results. The team's hitting results, but they're forgetting about the people development piece, right? And so they'll never reach this level until they focus on that piece. And when they do, it kind of unlocks things. It will unlock things. So here are 8 questions that John Maxwell gives so that you can help position your success on level 4. Okay. So the first one is, am I passionate about my personal growth? You got to grow yourself to grow others. Point blank, simple. Are you passionate about growing yourself? Others are going to feel it. They're going to sense it. They're going to see it. If you have a fire in you to continue growing, they're also going to sense if you don't. Okay. Number 2, does my growth journey have credibility? Does my growth journey have credibility? If there's a saying, if you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe the message. Do they believe in you? Have you connected? Have you proven yourself? Have you developed results? Have you been vulnerable with people along the way? Are you pretending to be Little Miss Perfect? Are you Little Miss Diamond Perfect? Oh, I know everything. I do everything right. No. So you've got to develop that connection piece, that credibility piece in your leadership. Does your growth journey, not just your journey to diamond, your journey to emerald, your journey to ruby, whatever, not just that growth, that journey, your growth journey, right? Number 3, are people attracted to me because of my growth? Okay. Again, not your business growth, your personal growth. Are they attracted to you because of your growth? People want to learn from leaders who see themselves continuing to grow and to learn, right? Yeah. Let's see, number 4, am I successful in the areas where I want to develop others? You cannot give what you don't have, right? That's why it's so important to pour into your own cup before you can pour out into others. But more specifically, I'm talking about strengths versus weaknesses here. For me, I'm really skilled at the business, understanding the business. I'm really skilled at building business builders and empowering others. I am not very skilled at knowing ingredient questions or how the body works or, even troubleshooting, some odd troubleshooting stuff. I'm not very talented at that. So I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm not going to be training that into my downline because they're going to look at me like a joke. They know that's not one of my strengths. So are you successful in the areas where you want to develop others, right? Where you're good at developing others. Number 5, have you crossed over the spend time versus invest time line? Have you crossed over from the spend time to the invest time line? Most people spend time with others, but they fail to invest in others, right? You've got to learn how to add value to others. You can sit there and have coffee with somebody and chit-chat all day long, but if they don't leave that meeting feeling better, feeling motivated, feeling like value was added to their life, then you have not invested in them. I think one of the greatest compliments I can ever receive is when somebody says, man, I just love spending time with you. Every time we get off the phone or every time we leave, I just feel better. I've done my job. I have added value, some sort of value for them. I have invested in them. I didn't just spend time and wasted it. Okay. Number 6, do I have a teachable way of life? Are you coachable and are you teachable, right? Or are you Little Miss Perfect sitting over here, Little Mr. Perfect? I know it all, right? I've read all the stuff. I've achieved what I want to achieve, so I'm good. I'm good. I've arrived. I'll sit back, right? Are you teachable? Teachable teachers are the best leaders. Right? Number 7, am I willing to be vulnerable as a role model and coach? That's a big piece there, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. But don't pretend to have all the answers. Be authentic. Own when you don't know something. Own when you make a mistake to make it better. We're all in this journey learning as we go, right? Nobody signs up as an ambassador and is diamond the very next day. Nobody, right? So we're learning as we go. So be vulnerable in that growth journey that gets you there, right? And beyond. And furthermore, one of the biggest things, and this is just a personal tidbit here, not only are you vulnerable, but are you making sure you're not feeling entitled? If you find yourself saying, I deserve emerald, I deserve diamond, I deserve, my upline needs to train me. I deserve that. I'm entitled to that. That type of mindset will stop you every day in this business. So shake that. Shake that. And I want to say most people will find themselves at some point along this journey struggling with that. I did. I'll own it. Yep. So when you can figure out that you don't deserve anything, you're not entitled to anything, doors will open. But be vulnerable as that role model and coach. It allows people to trust you. You have more influence. People are going to listen to you because people don't want to see people be perfect because nobody's perfect. Like, okay, I'm getting off on a little tangent here, but if your posts on social media are constantly Little Miss Perfect, my life is perfect, nothing is bad, my marriage is perfect, my husband is perfect, my kids are perfect, my life is perfect. Wonderful for you, but I really don't want to hang out with you, right? Because you're not being true. Because I know for certain your Facebook is just your highlight reel. Now, I'm not saying go on and like air your drama, right? But just be real. Be real when you struggle. Be real when you're upset. Be real when you are struggling with something. Maybe wait for the victory to then tell your story of struggle, right? Put a positive spin on it. Okay. Number 8, the last question is, do the people I develop, do they succeed? Do the people I develop succeed? Are you helping improve someone's life, right? I would say if you have jewels on your team, multiple jewels on your team, you're doing this if you had a hand in that somehow. Yeah. So the more yeses you get to those 8 questions, the better you are equipped to take the next step and develop others. And then I've got that video, like I said, that goes in and teaches you more tips on how to do that specifically. Okay, that's level 4 leadership. And yeah, level 4. Number 5 is the pinnacle, the very tippy top. And this is based off of respect, total respect. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent. Your name is just synonymous with, I respect that person, right? Based on reputation here. Only, a few people will reach this level, okay? These leaders have done very well, and they've produced many leaders that are 2s and 3s and 4s in their downline. They rise others up, and they have lots of jewels in their downline, lots and lots of jewels in their downline. These leaders are known company-wide, or better yet, industry-wide or worldwide, right? These are pinnacle leaders. Can everyone reach this level? No. I'll be honest with you on that. But should everybody strive? Yes. Absolutely yes. And how do you strive for this level? You continue to build leaders that are level 2, 3, and 4, decade after decade, lifetime over lifetime, right? That's how you do that. So that's level 5. So I want you to sit there for just a quick second, a hot second. Did any one of those levels kind of speak to you? If it did, that's probably your level. And I want you to be very honest with yourself. Take your ego, set it down on the chair next to you, and just be bare, be naked here for a second with yourself. What level of leader are you truly? Not what level you want to be, not what level you think you are, but what level are you functioning with your team? Okay? Write that number down. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And now I'm going to look at my book here, and I'm going to read to you some things you can do at each level. So each level, I'm going to give you specific things that you can do to go to the next level. So if you're level 1, here are some things that you can do. So if you find yourself in a position, here are ways that you can eventually grow into a level 2. You'll need to know your role and your job pretty thoroughly, right? And do your job with consistent excellence. Why is that important? Well, when you are performing and you do it with consistent excellence, you will over time build other people's permission to trust you, right? Okay. Do more than is expected of you. Do more than is expected of you. If you are trying to go Ruby and you're just like, well, I've got one downline on my team, and they're doing like amazing stuff, and so I'm just kind of jumping in with her stuff, and I'm just signing a couple of people here and there to get my outside leg points. Okay, that is level 1, right? Do more than is expected of you. Rise up. Rise up. It's not my job to tell you to do it. It's not my job to make you do it. You need to do it. Accept responsibility for yourself and for your leadership. This is where you own it. Own that you're level 1. Be okay with the fact that you're level 1 for a hot second, and then move on to level 2. Don't sit there. Don't do it. Learn from every leadership opportunity. Truly learn from it. Absorb it and apply it. And then don't rely on your position to help you lead. Okay, level 2, permission. So if you find yourself in level 2, here are things that you can do to get to level 3. You got to add value to the other person. You got to add value to the other person. Learn to see through the other person's eyes by asking them questions. So one thing that you do when you build influence is establish a common ground, right? So find similarities, but also get on their level. Get on their level of understanding. So ask questions, right? See through their eyes so that you can see what's going on. It will increase your influence with them. That's what you're doing here. Care more about the person than the rules. Care more about the person than the rules. Do whatever you can in your power to help that person succeed. If that person is trying to sign 5 people because that is just their goal, then you better do what you can to help them do it. If that person is like, God, I just need to make $100 a month, just $100 this month, it would just mean the world, then you better get in the trenches with them and do it with them. If you have a person that's trying to push for Sapphire or for Ruby, you better get in there and help them. Do whatever you can to make it possible. Be compliant, but do whatever you can to make it possible, right? If you are a mama or a daddy, you know what I'm about to say. We can be mama bears and papa bears when it comes to our kids. And if you put a brick wall in front of me and you said you can't get to your child, you better believe I'm going to claw my way through that brick wall, bloody fingers and all, right? I'm going to figure out a way to get over that brick wall. That is this. That is this. You figure out a way. You make it happen. I could preach on that one. I think I just did a little bit. Include the other person in your journey by shifting your focus from me to we, right? I always tell my team to include, like if I've got a leg, include their team in the team's organizational goals. So let's say that I have somebody that's pushing for Ruby, and I'm like, get your team involved. Tell them that you're getting close to Ruby. Their comeback is usually, well, I don't want them to think that it's just about me. No, a team wants to feel like they are part of something bigger, and they want to be included in that vision, in that accomplishment, in that dream. So when you tell the team, guys, we're going to be a Ruby team, but I need everybody to help me with this. We will be a Ruby, not Tara will be Ruby. We are going to be Ruby, and here's how we can help. We need 20 more orders. Can we do it? And do a countdown, right? Involve them. Don't just make it about me, make it about we. Make the other person's success your goal. I just kind of mentioned that a second ago. Make the other person's success your goal. Level 3, if you find yourself in the production level, influence based on results, here are 4 things that you can do to get to the next level. Initiate and accept responsibility for your own personal growth, right? So this is the example where I got stuck as an emerald. I was a level 3 leader at that point, and I was stuck. And I realized, oh my gosh, I have got to grow my leadership. I had to take ownership and responsibility of that. Develop accountability for results, beginning with yourself. You got to show up. What did I say earlier? Are you doing what you're asking of your team? If not, start there, right? Show your team it's capable, it's possible, it's doable. Lead by example and produce results. Help the other person find and give their best contribution. Guys, it is all about enhancing people's strengths, not focusing on people's weaknesses. Do I want to sit there and you tell me what my weakness is and me struggle on fixing it? No. No, I'm not going to be very productive. I'm not going to want to participate. I'm going to roll my eyes at it. But if you say, hey, Terry, you're really good at this. Could you do this for the team? Sure, I love doing it because I'm good at it. And it makes me feel important. So find what your team is good at, what your individual teammates are good at, and highlight that. Right? Highlight that. And then Level 4, if you find yourself at level 4 leadership, to get to level 5 here, embrace the idea that people are your most valuable asset, right? Continue developing those leaders. Be open and honest about your growth journey. Be vulnerable about it. Be so vulnerable about it that it hurts sometimes. It's scary sometimes to share it. But own it and share the victories that came out of it, right? Isaiah says, or the book of Isaiah in the Bible, I think it's 21:3, could be wrong, says that from ashes can come beauty, right? So share your ashes and share how it's turned into beauty. Be vulnerable. Expose the other person to growth and leadership opportunities. If you're failing to do this, you probably are not even functioning at a level 4, to be honest, but you've got to continue doing this to get to level 5 and place the person in the best place to be successful. Level 5 is you want to focus on focus your influence on the most promising 20% of people that you lead. And I would argue, honestly, I'm not trying to say John Maxwell's wrong, I'm not saying that, but I would argue even doing that at a level 4 is important, or level 3. Focusing your most efforts on the top 20%. So if you have 10 people on your team, there's probably going to be 2 that actually show commitment and leadership. You need to focus there. Don't focus, 80% of your time on the bottom 20%. You don't need to, or, don't focus all of your time on the bottom 80% is what I mean. You're not going to get very far. So focus your time on those that are producing. Teach and encourage them to develop high-level leaders. So level 5 is when you're really trying, you're really, level 4 leaders are popping up all the time in your organization. It's training that down. Leverage your influence to advance the organization and use your influence outside of your organization to build a difference. Use your influence outside of just your team to make a difference. Help the company. One Plexus, right? So those are the 5 levels broken down. I highly recommend that you guys focus some time on figuring out what level you are and increasing to the next level. Because if all you're doing is focusing on, well, I'm trying to help this person and this person and this person, you can try all day till you're blue in the face to grow leaders, but if you aren't growing yourself, you can't grow them. And you're eventually going to kind of damage your leadership because they're going to look at you like, why am I listening to her, right? So start with yourself. Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 is a great place to start. There's a workbook with that as well. Read the 5 levels of leadership if you need to, but it's pretty much this stuff. And be honest with where you are. Accept where you are. And know that you can go up and down on this. You can go up and you can slide right back down. So being aware of that. And then when you are aware of that, when you do begin to rise yourself, it will naturally inspire others and they will naturally lift up. And then you can really take hold of those leaders and develop them and get them to the next level. And that's developing the leaders around you. So I hope this was helpful. And I'm interested. Let me know in the comments what level of leadership that you think you are. And if this was helpful. I think this is a missing piece in a lot of organizations. When you find yourself stuck, it is always a leadership issue. Always a leadership issue where you need to grow beyond. So I'm interested to hear back from you guys and I hope it was helpful. Thanks.